Yo, what's going on? It's Bengt. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're talking about discipline, and if it's something that you struggle with, how you can improve on that. So there's been a lot of things that I've learned along the way on my journey that I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to kind of, in no particular order, just kind of run through the list and spitball a little bit. Some of the biggest things that I think have been impactful as far as developing discipline, and probably some of the reasons why you might be struggling with it if you're unable to pinpoint them. Just some things to be generally aware of. So the first one is you need a purpose. There has to be a why. Obviously, if you have, clicked on this video, if you're thinking about discipline, if you're looking into discipline, if you're aware that it's something that you need to get better at, there's got to be some reason in your life why you feel like the version of you that you are right now is inadequate. There's something that you want. There's this higher thing that you're chasing that you recognized, hey, I'm not going to be able to have that with my current form. So you need to identify and get very crystal clear on what that why is, what that purpose is, what that thing is that you want so bad that you're willing to try and focus more and give up certain things that are a part of your current life. So understand what that thing is, identify what that thing is, and hold it close, because that's going to be the North Star that kind of drives you through this very challenging endeavor that is becoming more disciplined, because it's not easy. It really isn't. It's one of the hardest things you can do. And obviously when it comes to being disciplined at certain things, it's easier than others, but generally speaking, it's the key to success, but it's also very hard, especially hard to continue at for long periods of time, which leads me to my next point, which is having proper expectations. And by that, I mean, a lot of times you'll go through these spurts where you lock in and you're super disciplined, and then something happens and you feel like you failed, or you just kind of like hit a wall and like not burn out, but just like maybe mentally, physically, emotionally, you're kind of just like toast. And then that's usually when you slip back into your older ways, habits, and routines and stuff like that. So by having proper expectations, and really to elaborate on that, to get clear on that, it's more like having the expectation in your head of like, okay, I'm gonna get disciplined and I'm not gonna reap the rewards. I'm not gonna bear any fruit from this for a long period of time, and I'm willing to delay my gratification. I would say having a positive mindset around delayed gratification when it comes to discipline is essential, because it's gonna feel like a lot of work for nothing at the beginning. And then over time, slowly, you start to reap what you sow. And it takes time for the positive benefits of the things that you're changing in your life to catch up. So that's another thing that I would say. Another one that you're gonna absolutely need is self-awareness and impulse control. And by impulse control, it's really also being able to identify what kind of mood you're in, maybe on a day when you're more emotional, maybe on a day when you're more tired than you normally are. Those are the types of days when discipline is hard. You know what I mean? On days where you wake up, you're well rested, you're motivated, you're inspired, you've got a lot of drive, things are going well, you've got momentum, you're on a winning streak. That's when the shit is easy. But you need to have a system in place. You need to have triggers that you can identify for when the shit gets hard. You know what I mean? Because that's when most people fuck up. That's when I fuck up. You know what I mean? And it's difficult to get that dialed in, but really it comes with time, it comes with practice, and it comes with understanding yourself on a deeper level and knowing what the things are that trigger you, knowing when you're the most susceptible to that voice in your head that calls you back to your comfort zone, to your older way of thinking or doing things. You need to be aware of that. You need to know when that voice comes out, and you need to be able to recognize it and tell it, no, we're committed to doing this thing. Which leads me very well into the next point, which is commitment. So one of the easiest ways to be committed is to first identify your why, which we already talked about. But on top of that, this is something that Jordan Peterson talked about, where you need to basically have an ideal future where everything goes right that you're moving towards, and then an unideal worst case scenario future where everything goes to shit. And basically you create these two different ends of the spectrum for yourself, where you have something to work towards and something to run away from. And that for me is something that has really allowed me to stay motivated and stay consistent and stay inspired even on the days when I really, really don't feel like it. Because I know for a fact that on those days when I don't feel like doing shit, on the days where I'm feeling a little lazy, on days where I'm not so inspired, on days where, the previous day I was on a high, I had all this great stuff going on, the momentum was there, and then something killed it, and I'm just like, I feel a little defeated, I feel like I'm ready to give up. On those days, I remember what my future looks like if I don't continue doing the things that I know I need to do. And that scares me enough, that shakes me up enough, that fuels me enough to where like I know that I really, really don't want that future for myself. And that's something that has, in several situations where I've kind of been like really, really close to just like slipping backwards and losing progress, that shit holds me accountable and has really helped me kind of stay motivated and push through that time where I didn't feel like being disciplined. I felt like kind of just letting myself go a little bit. So I would say those are some really important things that you're gonna need. And honestly, there's one more, I'm trying to remember it, but it'll come to me. So yeah, generally speaking, to kind of wrap things up and summarize, you need a why, you need a purpose, you need a vision of your future that's better than one you have now. You got to be able to recognize that, yes, if I want that, I have to be more disciplined, I have to change. There's parts of me right now that can't exist in that future that I want so badly. Secondly, you got to be able to identify yourself and your emotional and mental triggers. Identify the times in your life where you feel the most close to slipping back into your old ways. Figure out how to recognize them and catch them before you start the downward spiral, and also come up with tools and tricks that you can use for yourself to pull yourself out of those mindsets, to get you through those tougher days and stay down and stay focused. And the third thing is create a future for yourself where everything goes right, and create a future for yourself where everything goes wrong. Use that as a measuring stick to kind of push yourself towards that future that you want and away from the one that you don't. And if you're honest with yourself, that's the last thing that I was trying to remember that I couldn't, is being honest with yourself. None of this stuff works. None of the things that I've been talking about are gonna make any difference if you can't truthfully look yourself in the face and say when you're doing something right and say when you're doing something wrong. Be completely real. Like, bro, if you can't be honest to yourself, if you're gonna lie to yourself, then how can you expect anybody else on the fucking planet to treat you in any different, of a way? Being honest with yourself comes first, because the self-awareness, the emotional and impulse control, the discipline, the motivation, the building of the two realities where one is great and one is terrible, none of that stuff is gonna mean anything to you if you can't honestly look yourself in the face and be like, yes, this is what I want, this is what I am after, this is what I desire, this is where I'm at right now. Most people have this delusion in their head that they're somehow like farther ahead or smarter or more, closer to their goals than they think. And dude, I've been so guilty of that too, where I thought all this great shit in my head. Like, I was so arrogant, dude. I thought I fucking knew shit, but I don't. That's the truth. Like, you gotta really be honest with yourself. You gotta really humble your fucking self and realize that, if you were really as great as you thought you were, you'd already be where you wanted. You know what I mean? So you gotta be honest with yourself, and that's kind of the real core of all of this here. So if you made it to the end of the video, you're a real one. If there's anything else that you guys are struggling with when it comes to discipline, self-improvement, motivation, chasing your goals, stuff like that, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll make videos on those in the future. If you made it to the end, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's going on. We got more content coming soon. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Stay strong, stay blessed, stay dangerous. I'll catch you on the next one, all right? Peace.